Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Delaware Park here on Saturday. It's the 6th of July, 2024. Gonna look the stakes action here on Delaware Oaks Day from Delaware, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it, around the world. Let's look at the stakes action, races 6 through 9, all conveniently packed into all stakes pick 3, and there's a pick 5 that begins with this race. I don't know why they just couldn't make it an all stakes pick 4, but I guess not. But 6 through 9, let's get to it right now. The 6th race from Delaware, it is the Christiana Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies here. Field of 10 horses. Going to lawn, the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or mile and 1/8 on the turf course. I'm going to go with the 4 horse Bell of Rights as a top selection. 4-10-2-5 for me in the superfecta. 4-10-2-5 super. Top selection 4 horse Bell of Rights is 3-year-old filly by Constitution. Shug McGahee trains far as Boyce gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 12th of June at Delaware. A mile and 16th about on this turf course, and off 75 Clamor was a success for this horse. Won it by 1 3/4 lengths. She sat back early. A little bit trouble in the lane, but finally found a way through and got the job done going away. Refreshing back to this turf course, has run buyers that can definitely beat these horses. I think going up with some more trip suits this horse well. I think this horse could really get a trip to win. Third asking, first time stakes. 2 back, the horse ran an option 75 at Delaware, mile 70 on the 22nd of May. He finished second by 3/4 length that day, and again, a little lackadaisical early on, moved a little bit late. Ran her heart out behind a decent winner that day with an 81 buyer from the Y Post draw, but might need the race there off the bench. And then 10th of February, Tampon debut, mile 16th in the main special weight. The horse won by half a length, and from a tracking trip, he really took off clear. Refreshing here, I think this horse get the job done. I think the 10 horse style points for Jose Ortiz and Christoph Kamanquin also. Most recently at Keeling, going mile 3/16 on the 25th of April in a launch race for 100,000. The horse won by a nose that day and was a little bit wide that day, but had a great trip from the back of the pack. She really closed up well late, and she grinded out to the wire. First time Lasix. I thought that was a very good effort. Of course, not getting Lasix today and going to have to overcome Y Post draw, but I think this horse has the ability to win. I thought the race in the Delaware Oaks was impressive. Mile 16th on the 9th of March at Tampa. She finished second by a length that day, and she stalked that day. She just was a little bit too far out of it, which probably cost her the victory, but again, she ran her heart out that day. And then at Gulfstream, mile 16th in the Swedish Chance, she finished second by a neck that day, and she had the lead from the inside. She got caught late. What can you do? She ran her heart out. Her only subpar race was the debut at Belmont at Aqueduct last November on that very weird November turf course. After that, she's been pretty perfect. She'll probably see a fast turf course here today, and she could definitely win. I'll use her in the pick 3, but to recount my selection for the 6 from Delaware, it's Christiana. Going to take the 4 horse Bill of Rights. Give kudos to the 10 horse style points. 4-10-2-5 super, 4-10 in the multi-race. The 7th race from Delaware, very good one. It's the Alapocas Run Stakes. It's going for a $125,000 purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses, going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. Going to take a shot with the 6 horse here, American Monarch. 6-7-4-5 for me in the superfecta. 6-7-4-5 super. Top selection 6 horse, American Monarch. This 6-year-old Ridgeling by American Pharaoh. Belmont trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent appearance, first start in a little bit of time, 4th of May at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs out of turf course and elusive quality. The horse finished second by 1 1/4 lengths that day. The turf races have been few and far between, but she ran well. She sat back early. She was between horses. She closed up well late. Not a bad race. She's run good dirt races in the past that have been fast enough to beat these horses. She'll be forwardly paced, which is not bad on this track. I think she could get a good race here off the bench. 2 back in optional 80 at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs on the 9th of February. She won by half a length that day, and she was flying on the front end. She quickened up nicely, and she got the job done. A very good race for her that day. And then at Aqueduct on New Year's Eve, 6 furlongs and off 62. Ran probably the race for her life, winning by half a length on dirt that day. She stalked. She was a little bit wide, but on a very cold day, she got the job done. A very good performance. Her first start in a year and a half prior to that at Aqueduct wasn't bad at all, where she'd have a decent 4th place finish. She has hidden ability that could definitely win against these horses. It's taken him a little bit of time to get to the racetrack. He's had quite a few year-long breaks at times, but since he's been on the racetrack in his most recent form cycles, he's been running quite nicely. I'm going to give him a shot here at 5-1. He could win. I think the 7-horse here, Dean Delivers for Rodriguez and Edward Allard, could win also. Most recently at Monmouth on the slump in the Mr. Prospector Memorial Day weekend, this horse won by a half a length, and on the front end, he took off clear. That was a very good performance that day, first time in the new barn. Prior to that, in the Tampa Turfs, Florida Turfs, Tampa Turfs, well, not Turf, why do we keep saying Turf? The Tampa Florida Sire Stakes Sprint, he finished fourth by 9 1/4 lengths that day, and absolutely had nothing. I don't know if he liked the Tampa course. Prior to that, against Tough Horse in the Gulfstream Park Sprint, he finished fifth by 8 1/4 lengths. He had a very troubled trip off the bench, but he had a decent place at Tampa before that, going 7/8, where he just kind of yielded late. His races up north haven't been half bad. I thought he had a decent third in last year's Vanderbilt. Coming here to Delaware, where he had a decent race, where he's been training well since the last race, I think he'd get the job done. Let's use him on the ticket. And even the 4, 7s, 11, he hasn't been seen since his place in the General Georgetown Post time, was the next start winner in the Carter. But he was running these decent races at Laurel, coming to Delaware for the first time, training incredibly well, half-mile drill from the gate, in 47-4 last week, the best out of 51 locally. He can win. I'll give him a shot here on the tickets. It's going to be a very exciting feature race, so you go a few ways in this one, or co-feature race. But to recount my selection for the 7th now from Delaware, it's the Alapocas Run Stakes. Going to take the 6-horse American Monarch. Give kudos to the 7-horse Dean Delivers and the 4-horse 7-11s. Who are we? 6, 7, 4, 5 Super, 6, 7, 4 in the multi-race. The 8th race from Delaware, a race very rich in history. It is the Kent Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 12 horses going 2,200 meters, or a mile 3/8 on the Delaware turf course. I believe last year was the first year they ran this race at a distance other than a mile and 1/8. They increased the distance to a mile 3/8, which I think is a good idea, because this year you have a great race, and it's probably taking away from the Belmont Derby today at Aqueduct, where you saw pretty small field of horses. It's a good group of horses, but just a small field of horses. I think this race is a little more better betting opportunity in general. I think today's card at Delaware and at Horseshoe Indies are better cards than Aqueduct today. But like I said, I think if they keep getting races like this at Delaware, or for this Kent Stakes in the years to come, it wouldn't surprise me if it becomes like a grade 3 at least, and if not a grade 2 in the years to follow. But hopefully it stays on the turf. My top selection in the Kent, I'm going to go take the 2-horse St. James to grade 2-5-6-1 for me in the superfecta. 2-5-6-1 super. Top selection in 2-horse St. James to grade this 3-year-old gelding by Catholic Boy. Kerry Bryan trains. Simon Russell gets the mount. Blinkers off today for the first time since the sophomore effort. Most recently ran the horse in the Pine Ridge at Aqueduct, mile 8th on the 25th of May. The horse finished 5th by 3 3/4 lengths that day, and was stupidly wide. He never really settled, and he just never really got going. Maybe asking a little bit too much too soon. I think with the longer trip drawn very well here today, this horse could settle down on the front end, and I think he can make that one run late. That could be to his benefit and get the job done. But he could be wide around 1 turn, 2 turns, we have a problem. Like I said, just wasn't a recipe for success that day. He didn't have the right mixture to make the cake. Prior to that, an allowance race for older horses at Laurel, mile 19th of April, he finished 4th by 5 1/4 lengths that day, and again, he just plodded along with the racetrack, never had the turn of foot. He needed a race off the bench there. He improved a little bit at Aqueduct after that, and then his final race is a 2-year-old at Laurel on the lawn, a mile and 1/8 in the main special weight, winning by 4 3/4 lengths from the inside. He sat back early. He got a little bit wide late, but he really took off clear late. A very good run, and then he actually placed behind Neat, who's a decent horse at Laurel, in a main special weight as a 2-year-old, finishing 2nd by 4 1/4 lengths behind him. He was a little bit wide, but he got around the race course well. His races, on the Mid-Atlantic before that, he was running these good races, just not winning. I think he finally benefits with a good inside post draw. He gets that more trip, which he's been crying out for. Watch out for him here today. I think the 5-horse Triple Espresso for Tom Pletcher and Javier Castellano could get a trip to win also. Most recently in that Pine Ridge, he finished 6th by 4 1/4 lengths that day, and was just wide and empty that day. He just couldn't quicken up off the bench. He should have did a little bit better than he did. Legend of Time's a decent horse there. Prior to the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway of the mile 1/8 on Topeka, he had a wide trip that day, and a very bumpy trip, but he finished 4th by 1 1/4 lengths, gaining a little bit ground there. And then earlier in the month in the Colonel Liam at Gulfstream, he finished 4th by 3 lengths that day. I thought he wanted more ground, but he got around the race course well. It took a little bit of time to break the main, but he finally did 4 back at Gulfstream in January, going a mile on the turf course with a very nice 74 buyer. He actually debuted in the Ken's Joy Stakes at Colonial where he ran a good race there for a second place finish and came back to run a decent fifth a month later in the Pilgrim. But refreshing here, longer trip, which another horse I think he's been crying out for. He could do wonders with it. And even the 6-horse Nomos for Tom Pletcher, his race 2 back at Keeling going mile 3/16 wasn't bad at all. His dirt race is a little bit subpar, which kind of muddies up the racing form here. But if you take those dirt races out, he's running pretty good on the green stuff. Going up with longer trip, he could win 8-1. Let's use him in the pick 3 here because he could definitely win. This pick 3 that we're going to start with race number 7 is going to be race number 6 is going to be very nice. So watch out if it comes out. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Delaware, it is the Kent Stakes. Going to take the 2-horse St. James the Great. Give kudos to the 5-horse Triple Espresso with the 6-horse Nomos, 2-5-6-1 Super, 2-5-6 in the multi-race. The 9th race now from Delaware. It's the feature on the program. It is the Delaware Oaks. It's a grade 3 event going for a $300,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies. 7 horses are going 1,700 meters or mile 16th here in the Delaware Oaks. Going to take the 3-horse Power Squeeze. Let's go 3-7-4-6 in the superfecta. 3-7-4-6 Super. Top selection of 3-horse Power Squeeze. 3-year-old filly by Union Rags here. Jorge Delgado trains. Javier Castellano picks up the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the grade 1 Acorn at Saratoga, mile 8th on 7th of June, and she finished third by 6 3/4 lengths. Definitely outran the 25-1 odds that day. He sat back early, a little bit wide late. Wasn't catching Leslie's Road and Torpedo Anna, but she got down the race course well. Now, way down the class ladder from her last few races, she'll be forwardly paced here today. I think she's run races fast enough that can win on this course, and she can get the job done. 2 back in the Kentucky Oaks at Churchill's on the slob, mile 3rd of May. She finished 6 by 16 1/4 lengths that day, and she was wide from a wide post road. She moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything to call home about. She just got beat by better horses on the day. And then the Gulfstream Park Oaks at Gulfstream, mile 16, 30th of March. Out of all the runnings we've had in the last 10 years at Gulfstream for that race, I don't think it was the world's toughest Gulfstream Park Oaks. I think Ways and Means is probably the best horse in the race, and unfortunately she placed that day. Came back to win 2 after that at Saratoga quite impressively with a triple-digit buyer. But this horse found a good trip from a wide post road from a wide trip late to get the job done. A little bit hurting that day, but it was a very good race there. And then at Tampa in the mile 40 at Suncoast, she won by 2 3/4 lengths, and again she ran terrifically. She had a very good under the radar winter campaign in South Florida by winning the cash run, coming back to win the Suncoast and winning the Gulfstream Park Oaks. She's been pretty perfect there. Kind of understand why she ran at 11-1 in the Oaks, but she didn't do a lot of running after that. But she broke her maiden on this track last October quite nicely. On debut she had a decent 4th. Coming here today, training well. I'll give her a shot with some serious class relief. I can understand singling her in the pick 4, but I think there's another way you could go. I think the 7-horse Sidamara for Judmont, Belmont, and Jose Ortiz, your second likeliest winner. Most recently, Derby weekend at Churchill in the slop going mile 16th and option 100. She won by 3 3/4 lengths that day, and she had a wide trip, and she was drifting that day, but she flew home clear late. A very good race behind in front that day. Sedona finished second. I believe is running today, or is it tomorrow? Today, somewhere. She's running at in Prairie. I can't remember what I looked at, but Sedona is a decent horse. But this horse, she took off clear. Prior to in early April, Keeling going mile 16th and made special weight. She won by a length that day. And usually those mile 16th races at Keeling with a short finish tend to be more towards speed inside horses. This horse had a wide trip that day, but really circled the field late and timed the race perfectly. That was a very good run that day. And then the slop at Goldstrom in the main special weight in March, she finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. She was a little bit wide, but she got around the race course well. Training well on the Oklahoma track at Saratoga since the last race. First stakes quality horse. It's not the world's deepest race. She can find a trip to win. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's use her in the pick 5 here. But to recap my selection for the featured 9th race from Delaware now, it is the grade 3 Delaware Oaks. Gonna take the 3-horse Power Squeeze. Give kudos to 7-horse Admara. 3-7-4-6 Super. 3-7 in the multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5. Good luck everybody.